Hi! This is our first video about doing the writing part and the researching part of the Washington History Virtual Museum project. By now, you should have your topic picked out, and you should also have 3 essential questions. You need the 3 essential questions to go before you go any further. If you don't have 3 essential questions already, then please email me or Stacy and ask us to send you 3 essential questions. So once you have your questions, then you're ready to start taking some notes. You might remember when we did note-taking before that you took notes about note-taking, and I have them right here. I'm going to give you a little refresher on how you take notes. You might remember these notes from class. This is how you make notes in an outline form. You're going to have a bigger topic that you're researching, and then on this page I have 3 main topics that I found as I was reading. The first main topic you're going to put with a Roman numeral 1, and then under that you'll have a subtopic with details, and then another subtopic with details. Then I have a second main topic, also with subtopics and details. You'll find this in your research. A lot of times the thing that you will use for your first main topic will be something that is in bold at the top of a paragraph or a section. And that will let you know what that section is going to be about. That will make a good main topic for you. Let's turn the page and we'll remember taking notes about the Seattle fire. The Seattle fire we took notes about. For the first section, the first main topic was about what happened in Seattle before the fire. And then we give details about each of those subsections. The typical frontier town, you might remember that the lady in the video talked about that. And then I tell exactly what do you mean by a typical frontier town. We also wanted to talk about how the town was poorly built before the fire. And then I give details about what exactly that means. You can look back, if you have your notebook, you can look back and see what exactly you wrote down about the Seattle fire. But the important thing is just to get the big picture here. We're talking about the fire, and we broke it down into several main topics. Seattle before the fire, and then down here, Seattle when the fire starts. And then we made another section about what happened after the fire. So when you're taking notes, you're going to organize them in the same way. Remember, when you're looking at these notes, you can remember that we're not using full sentences. We're just using ideas, not sentences. So we wrote, you can see there under poorly built, I wrote here under poorly built, I wrote houses and buildings are wood, very close together, thin walls, bad toilets. It's more like a list than a sentences. And then you will make it into sentences later. Right now you just want to get down the ideas so that you can remember what it is that you read about to put in your paper. I'm going to give you an example using the topic of the Mercer girls. That is a topic that one of our groups had before we went on quarantine. And I'm going to use my funny whiteboard that I made, which is really just some tag board taped on the outside of a window. And then I got a dry erase marker and I'm writing on the window. It's actually kind of fun. If you ask permission, you can do it at your own house. It does wipe off. So the Mercer girls were a group of young women who were brought to Seattle during the early days of Seattle by a man named Asa Mercer. You might remember Mercer Street. You've probably seen Mercer Street before. It's by the Space Needle and the Seattle Center. And it's named after Asa Mercer, who's one of the founders of this city. Anyway, Asa Mercer brought these girls here, and one of the questions that I would say would be an essential question on this topic is why? Why did Asa Mercer bring these girls to Seattle? So if I was looking at my research, I see here that it says, children need teachers, men need wives. That seems like the perfect way of answering the question, why did Asa Mercer bring the Mercer girls to Seattle? So I'm going to start with that. So if Mercer Girls is my main topic, then I'm going to make my first Roman numeral 1 section be about one reason why they came. Well, it says here, the one reason why they came is because children needed teachers. Okay, great. Well, let's write that. I'm going to write children need teachers. Okay, great. So let's see what it says in the article about that. It says here, Seattle's population had more than doubled in the years since the first families landed across the bay at Alki in 1851, and the university had just opened its doors in 1861. Mercer explained that as the community grew, there were more children of school age, but few to teach them. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So the population had doubled. I'm going to definitely write that down. That's going to be one of my things. Population doubled. Okay, the population doubled. That makes sense. And what's the next thing that it says? It says that the university had just opened its doors. Okay. University opened. You know what they're talking about there is UW. I'm going to put that in parentheses. UW. University of Washington just opened its doors. And why do you think that matters? Well, who's going to go to a university if there aren't enough kids going to school? And then C, another reason why they needed teachers is because it says as the community grew, there were more children of school age, but no one to teach them. So we would just say more children school age. Okay, so now I have some good information there that I can use. I didn't put any details under A, B, or C, but I might choose to add them later. You can always leave a little space for them so that you can add those later. And then since that section also talks about men needing wives, I might put that as my number 2 here. Men need wives. So then I'm going to want to add some details about why the men need wives. Ooh, that's a little hard to read, isn't it? There we go. About why the men need wives. So you should have one page in your notebook or whatever paper you're working with, one section for each of your essential questions. Each section is going to be the place where you put the notes for that question, the notes that go with each question. So when I'm asking the question about the Mercer girls, if that was my question number 1, I would put all those notes right here on this page for question number 1. You need to keep all your notes for your questions separate like that because it's going to help you a lot when you make your hamburgers. I'll be meeting with you this week to talk about exactly what I was just teaching you and answer your questions and go over some of those things again so that if you have questions about note taking, I can answer them and you can show me what notes you're taking and talk to me about what kinds of obstacles you might be facing and also what kinds of exciting things you might be learning about your topic. So to review what we've talked about, you're going to take notes in an outline style using your research. You're going to divide your notebook or your work into 3 sections, 1 section for each essential question, and take notes related to that question in that section. I'll talk to you more about this at your meeting with me, and then also I'll be releasing another video or PowerPoint on Wednesday to show you more things about taking notes. I hope you are finding ways to get outside and do some fun things, and I'm sorry you're lonely. Write me an email if you want a pen pal. Okay, bye-bye, I miss you.